Oh no. No. Focus. Damn. Hi guys, welcome to Wild Vlogs, where we'll talk all things wildlife and all things filmmaking. And I've christened today's vlog as a tale of observation. And that's because I'm really keen to stress to people about the secrets of good observation and seeing and experiencing wildlife. And really, there is no secret. The main thing is to realise the main enemy of good observation, and that's movement. We often think as people that we see more from hides, but that's not necessarily because of the hide itself. We mustn't assume that nature doesn't know we're there. It's because we're being passive. It's because we've been forced to stop. On its lightest level, you won't just notice that the bluebells are now dying back, but you'll also notice that the brambles and the ferns are now starting to dominate. Soon the undergrowth will be impassable for the dominance of these two. And if you were to find yourself a great big majestic oak like this, then I would suggest sit near its base and give it 10 minutes or so. That way you'll realise that the rhythms of life around you are holding sequences and patterns. Possibly maybe a favourite perch. And a favourite perch at this time of the year can generally only mean one thing: you're near a nest site. It might not just be a favourite perch, it might be a sequence of flying patterns, a familiar bird or a similar bird passing by you every few minutes. And with your curiosity pricked in a small exploration and a bit more passiveness, you might notice there's a tree hole. And with another few minutes, all of its secrets should be revealed. It's then that you'll start to realise that these kinds of observations can have a chain effect, like a domino fall. Because as you're watching this tree hole, you notice that down in the brambles at its base sits a quiet female chiffchaff. She too knows you're there, but she doesn't see you as a threat. Not anymore. You're not moving, you're passive, you're part of the natural furniture. You notice that she's scanning towards an old stump, an old mature tree. On one of its spurs, you'll find her mate, preening after a hard dose of the dawn chorus. And just then, out of the corner of your eye, you'll notice that on the trunk of this old tree there's more movement of a curious sort. A small brown bird disappears behind the bark. It's a tree creeper. And again, with another few moments, you'll see it's another nest under construction. But I can't talk about passiveness and this kind of observation, especially at this time of the year, without telling you a few of its pitfalls. Well, actually, only one, but some of you might think it's a biggie. There tends to be a price to pay if you're sitting in a wood, especially a damp wood like this, at this time of the year, and not moving much. Even with the gentlest breathing, Your carbon dioxide will attract a few midges that maybe you're not too keen on. One thing's for sure, these mosquitoes are pretty keen on me. Thankfully, most of the time the denim is impervious to them, even though they invite their mates along. But occasionally I am bitten, but I see it as a small price to pay. And of course we must realise there are repellents out there that we can use should we see fit. And as you become practiced with this passiveness and observation, you'll start to see, hear, and possibly even feel the smallest, most finest nuances around you. And that happened to me with this dominant redwood in the corner of the copse. I was sure that from one of its long, dominant, overhanging branches that seemed to spray themselves above and through most of the deciduous trees, something was occurring. But with patience and constant and repetitive observation, the penny started to drop. From a few seemingly infinitesimally small fronds from one of its massive overhanging branches, there was a furze of movement that seemed to belie the likes you would experience with a gentle breeze or a passing gust of wind. And then, eventually, in the dawn light, I saw the small silhouettes. And they are small. These are the smallest birds in the UK, a pair of goldcrests. But because of the 30-foot altitude and the incredibly finite piece of habitat that I was looking at, I wasn't sure whether these birds were feeding chicks. But I soon realised that their frequent visits to this one very small spot was to build a nest. They were bringing in tiny amounts of moss, lichen and fine strands of bark. Notoriously well hidden and almost impossible to locate, this really was a triumph of good observation. And despite all the filming challenges that lay ahead of me with the exposure and the altitude, I really was made up that this was a nest under construction and therefore then a chance to experience their behaviour for possibly a good 3 to 4 weeks. But there's one thing I absolutely knew for sure, that there isn't a chance, not a single chance, of ever finding a nest like this if you're on the move. This then, a wonderful discovery in an ongoing quest to experience nature in the high season over the next few weeks. But in the meantime, between now and next Sunday, if you do find yourself going out, then please do stop. Open up all of your senses. Relent, look for patterns and sequences and the rhythm of life around you, and you'll experience so much more. Thanks guys, and until next Sunday on Vlog 25, goodbye.